Remember every detail. The Germans wore gray, you wore blue.
Casablanca.
Julie, it's red.
It's gorgeously red.
You can't wear red to the Olympus ball.
Why not?
You never saw an unmarried girl in anything but white.
Jezebel.
What was she wearing?
Tweed, oatmeal flecked with brown, a three-quarter coat with patch pockets, a scarf, felt hat, brown shoes.
The Lady Vanishes. Gray and blue and red and brown and all in sparkling black and white. And do not adjust your set. There's nothing wrong with it. Gene and I are also in black and white this week for a special program that we're calling Hail, Hail, Black and White. Now, this is not, by the way, a show about how much we hate colorization, although we do. We've already done that show. This is a special program on why we sometimes actually like black and white movies better than movies shot in color. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune. Most of the hue and cry over colorization is focused on how bad the computer color paint jobs have been. Much less attention has been given to the glory of black and white. We hope to correct that idea with this show. I'd like to start out with my opinion, which is that black and white is more interesting than color. More otherworldly, more akin to the dreamlike state to which most movies aspire. A black and white film is not a broken color film, and our finest directors today know that. It's no coincidence that Martin Scorsese, Francis Coppola, and Woody Allen each has made a black and white movie in the last decade. Allen's great black and white film is Manhattan, and he uses black and white as a memory device and as a rough symbol of a rough and tumble city.
To him, no matter what the season was, this was still a town that existed in black and white and pulsated to the great tunes of George Gershwin.
Martin Scorsese's boxing masterpiece, Raging Bull, also uses black and white to recall fight films of the 40s and the tabloid newspaper photographs of the day. The punches seem more violent in black and white. Color, even blood red itself, would be a distraction.
These are clean, whistling shots. How he can survive them, nobody knows. No man can endure this pummeling.
Francis Coppola designed the youthful saga Rumblefish to be a primer in filmmaking, using black and white as the baseline, the elemental visual force in movies. Those are beautiful images. It was hard for each of those distinguished directors to earn the right to shoot in black and white. Studios are reluctant to finance black and white films because they think the public thinks it's being cheated when a film isn't in color. But color is easy. It's everywhere. Shooting in black and white is actually more difficult today.
You know, you hear a lot about how the directors in the old days who shot in black and white, well, they would have shot in color if they only could have. I think it's more true that today's directors would rather shoot in black and white if they could. I'll bet there's not a director in Hollywood who wouldn't love the opportunity to shoot a black and white movie.
I think you're right. It's kind of akin to shooting a Western. And most every director I've ever talked to said they would love to shoot a Western. And I think black and white film has the same kind of mythic power. So they really love to shoot in black and white.
It's part of movie history. One of the strongest qualities of black and white is the way it punches up the drama of a scene by doing away with the distraction of color. Black and white allows a greater emphasis on shape and form and movement, and it elevates the material stylistically. Black and white doesn't look like the real world, and it's not supposed to. It's a distillation of the real world, almost a dream or a nightmare world. And to prove that, we want to compare some very similar scenes, first in black and white, then in color. Now, right now, you're looking at Alfred Hitchcock's 1939 classic, The Lady Vanishes, a movie about a young woman who can't convince anyone that an old lady has disappeared from a train. Look at the clean lines of the movement here, everything distilled into pure form.
La Signora Inglese, the English lady, where is she?
There has been no English lady here.
What?
There has been no English lady here.
We've chosen this similar scene from the 1979 remake of the same movie. We're not comparing quality, we're only comparing the look. This movie is in color, and do you see here how the drama sort of dissipates, how it's more like a travelogue than a thriller?
Excuse me. The lady who was sitting there, the English lady, do you know where she went?
There has been no English lady here.
Excuse me?
I said there has been no English lady here.
The greatest Astaire and Rogers musicals were shot in black and white, and Fred Astaire said he liked it that way because color would only distract from the choreography. We're watching here the great dance team in Swing Time. And here they are again, Astaire and Rogers in the Barclays of Broadway, made 13 years later in color. The dancers are the same, but a little of the magic is missing. Another comparison, the Beatles in A Hard Day's Night from 1964, one of the best rock and roll movies ever made. Here we get the distillation of their appeal in dramatic concert footage that has a newsreel feeling to it. They're timeless in black and white, but here they are only a year later in color in the movie Help, and somehow they look a little dated. Now, of course, no two scenes are going to be exactly comparable. We're just using that as kind of a rough comparison, but looking at those scenes side by side, I was struck by how the black and white photography popped out of the screen with real drama, while the color scenes seemed more routine. They were more realistic, and what we really want at the movies is fantasy.
There's no question that when I go to the movies, I want to be taken to another world. That's why I go. If I want the real world, I can walk around in it. And black and white signals me in a film instantly that I'm in another world. I dream in black and white. I don't dream in color. Francois Truffaut, the great filmmaker and great film critic, said that he would have preferred to have shot every single film in black and white. It was only the French TV networks that he went to for money that forced him to shoot in color. When he wrote, he never thought in color.
And of course, it's television in America that has caused all the movies to be made in color too, because when color came in the 1950s, suddenly all the networks wanted to show color films, so if you had a color set, you'd watch their network. Now, the ironic thing is that on television, which has a more limited picture in terms of quality than the movies do, black and white looks better.
For example, you look halfway decent right now. Coming up next, we'll show you the greatness of black and white in a wide variety of movie genres.
Before you freeze, remember this rule of thumb. Get Ziploc brand freezer bags with the gripper zipper. Tough, tiny teeth you can feel gripping, so you know freshness is locked in, freezer burns out. Do like me. Protect your ears. There's only one Ziploc.
Just released on video. It's no mystery why kids love The Great Mouse Detective. Everyone has a favorite character.
Basil's really smart because he made that formula and we don't even know how.
Actually, it's elementary.
Writing it was a mean rat.
What did you call me?
He doesn't like to be called a rat. So call him a mouse, okay? I like the part where Toby's ears turn into stairs.
It's pure family fun. Disney's The Great Mouse Detective.
How fast does Anbesol start to relieve toothache pain? Before you can say...
Anbesol.
Denture pain? Before you can say...
Anbesol.
Relieve minor mouth pain on contact with Anbesol in regular or maximum strength.
Channel 11, WPIX New York, our Tribune Broadcasting Station.
Out west, there's a natural law.
PPP.
You're either born to follow.
I am the officer in charge here.
Or born to lead.
We got a murder on our hands.
Those who don't obey.
Proper police procedure.
The law.
You tell anybody, I'll kill you!
Remain unforgiven. Robert Blake is riding a deadly trail on his electric glide in blue. Saturday at 5 on Channel 11, New York's movie station.
There they are. They're not millionaires. They're not celebrities. They're smart and thrifty. How?
I didn't pay a lot for brakes at Meineke.
Oh, the man who didn't pay a lot for brakes at Meineke.
Let Meineke Discount Mufflers show you how to get high quality at a famously low price. At Meineke, you're not going to pay a lot for brakes.
Introducing the new wave in air freshening. Airwick Airwaves, the advanced air freshening system. Turn it on.
Turn it on.
Turn it up.
Turn it up.
Way up.
Way up.
Turn it down.
Turn it down.
Way down.
Way down.
Turn it off. Slip in a refill for freshness that goes on and on. Airwick Airwaves, electric, refillable, adjustable.
Turn it on. Turn it up.
Turn it down for just the right amount of freshness all around. Completely adjustable Airwick Airwaves, the advanced air freshening system.
Most people treat alcoholism as a non-disease. And I treat alcoholism as if someone was just hit by a truck. There's no discussion now. You had someone hit by a truck. They're laying in the middle of the street. You pick them up. You take them to a hospital. Somebody has alcoholism. You take them to an alcohol rehabilitation center. You don't wait. You don't discuss this. You don't negotiate. When you're sick, you go to some place where you can get well. Call Seafield today. We can help.
A day at Six Flags Great Adventure.
It's a world of fun.
Hey, there's nothing like a Six Flags day with your kids. There's nothing like the excitement of Adventure Rivers. Over 100 great rides and attractions in all, including a safari and the new Batman stunt show. Share the fun at a theme park bigger than Disneyland. Six Flags Great Adventure. It's not a world away.
It's a world of fun, Doc.
Adults save $10 weekdays or $5 weekends with special coupons at participating Burger Kings.
There they are. They're not millionaires. They're not celebrities. They're smart and thrifty. How?
I didn't pay a lot for brakes at Meineke.
Oh, the man who didn't pay a lot for brakes at Meineke.
Let Meineke Discount Mufflers show you how to get high quality at a famously low price. At Meineke, you're not going to pay a lot for brakes.
Is in black and white and some beautiful grays as well. Continuing our tribute to black and white movies, a lot of people who recall black and white films associate them somehow with the dark side of mankind. Indeed, there is a French film phrase, film noir, which refers to dark films, films of the night. A classic example is Jacques Tourneur's Cat People, showing the beast in the human animal.
Come on, sister. Are you riding with me or ain't you?
The power of black and white, however, is not restricted to the dark side of man. Here are some classic black and white films in other genres. Kids today probably can't imagine a science fiction film in black and white, but one of the best is The Day the Earth Stood Still, with its hard-edged vision of an alien. My favorite Western, Red River, doesn't have any red in it, or green, or brown. There's nothing more elemental than its scene of cowboys hooping it up. In black and white, it looks like a fluid sculpture. Comedy depends so much on timing. Color would get in the way of a helter-skelter picture like A Night at the Opera.
Peanuts, peanuts. Get your fresh roasted peanuts, folks. They're nice and high and cold. Get your peanuts. Be all peanuts. Ah, peanuts, peanuts.
The key to comedy lasting, of course, is that it be timeless. And I think if we had seen the Marx Brothers' clothes in that sequence, I think that we would notice the clothes, notice the material, it would look older. It doesn't look old now. It just looks like an elemental force.
You know, I had the opportunity to interview Groucho Marx once, and when I walked into the room, the first thing I noticed was that he was wearing brown horn-rimmed glasses.
Right.
And somehow I thought that was wrong. And we started talking about black and white. You know, he had that really black mustache that was obviously grease. And somehow he got away with it in black and white. In color, I don't know what it would look like, but it would have looked grease, even like grease, even weirder. And he said, well, he says, when we were at Paramount, the theory was color was for dresses, for movies where the women wore a lot of pretty dresses. And in our movies, nobody wore pretty dresses, unless maybe it was us. And even then, it was better in black and white.
I think the Pink Panther series, just to move it up to the present, I think that that series would last a lot longer and would be more timeless if it had been shot in black and white. Now, his clothes look dated.
It's an interesting idea. Coming up next, we'll answer the question, is it real or is it black and white?
To make the cut on the Olympic volleyball team, you've got to have what it takes. A great love of the game. The talent to play.
You're an incredible ball player.
But most of all, you just can't quit.
I do not intend to tell my children that their father was a quitter.
You've got to keep trying.
You've got the chance now.
Patrick Hauser and Michael Parks in a story of challenge and determination. Spiker.
Sunday at 2.
What will happen if you picked up your phone and called right now? Well, in seconds, you'd enter a world where you're treated like a king. You will share live, one-to-one conversation with a beautiful woman who's there just for you. You can call anytime, every day, and you can say whatever's in your mind, or just listen. What will happen if you call now? Find out for now for yourself.
The call is free, but you must be over 18.
How are you doing? I'm doing great.
An overworked lawyer.
I'm out of here, babe, because it's kicking the life out of me.
An undercover cop.
Lure of easy money. Very hard to refuse.
A city where the bad guys have taken over.
My client will make bail.
And the good guys are even worse.
You cops,
You're the best that money can buy.
Peter Weller.
You're gonna miss me when I'm gone, babe.
Sam Elliott.
Plan on taking down a homie?
Shakedown. Monday night at 8 on Channel 11, New York's movie station.
Vintage sand. We've got to leave things as we found them.
I'd like to get back to something I said in the first segment of this show, which is that black and white is less realistic than color. Now, that's probably the opposite of what a lot of people think. Without having given it a lot of thought, they believe black and white is more realistic, maybe because they identify it with a lot of newsreel and documentary footage and old TV shows. But the real world is in color, and black and white movies drain out that color and take us into a world where the shadows are more suggestive, the lighting is more dramatic, and the characters seem to stand for more than themselves. Now, look at this scene here from the 1948 thriller Out of the Past. All the characters smoke throughout this movie, and the director, Jacques Tourneur, deliberately threw light into the areas where he thought the smoke would appear, creating great clouds of smoke which dramatize the way tough guys Robert Mitchum and Kirk Douglas are each trying to dominate the other guy's space.
Anything happened to her?
She ran out on me.
With $40,000.
I want her back.
This is an intriguing scene from The Bad and the Beautiful, filmed in 1952. Kirk Douglas plays a brilliant movie producer, and part of his brilliance is his idea of using shadow and darkness to suggest what isn't seen. He could almost be talking about the scene we saw earlier in this show from the movie Cat People.
Suppose we never do show the Catmen. Is that what you're thinking? Exact. No Catmen.
All right. Now, what we put on the screen, it'll make the backs of their necks crawl.
Douglas is speaking in that scene for a whole generation of directors who knew what an effective tool they had in black and white. Now watch this scene from Notorious, another Hitchcock classic. As the scene opens, Ingrid Bergman is suspected of being a spy, and she's in shadow. Then a secret recording reveals that she may not be guilty after all, and she steps forward into fragmented light. Finally, it becomes clear that she is innocent, and at the same moment, she steps into full light.
And I love this country, do you understand that? I love it. I'll see you all hanged before I raise a finger against it.
The problem with color is that the shadows aren't really black, and the whole scene tends to be lit in a flatter, more realistic style. It loses that heightened drama. To get those contrasts, you need to be able to extend your range all the way from absolute white to pitch black, and color photography tends to be more at home somewhere in the middle.
Let me pick up on your phrase, inherent drama. As we were preparing to do this show, and we were looking at a monitor of the two of us in black and white for the first time. We haven't seen ourselves this way. What did I do the first thing? I went like this.
Right.
I became...
Waldo Heidecker, yeah.
I tried to become more elegant. This forced me. There is inherent drama in it. There's no question about it. I behaved differently because I saw myself being photographed in black and white. It wasn't just the tuxedo. It was the whole ambience of the whole scene.
It makes you feel somehow as if there is an additional level of mystery,
no question,
or suggestion beyond the plain old color mugshot of you sitting there.
I want to rise up and look down at you because I know it's going to have almost laser-like power.
Really? And I want to pull the chair out from under you before you sit back down because I know that will have almost laser-like comedy. Coming up next on our Salute to Black and White Movies, a look at some of Hollywood's most glamorous black and white stars.
Introducing the new wave in air freshening. Airwick Airwaves, the advanced air freshening system. Turn it on.
Turn it on.
Turn it up.
Turn it up.
Way up.
Way up.
Turn it down.
Turn it down.
Way down.
Way down.
Turn it off. Slip in a refill for freshness that goes on and on. Airwick Airwaves, electric, refillable, adjustable.
Turn it on. Turn it up.
Turn it down for just the right amount of freshness all around. Completely adjustable Airwick Airwaves, the advanced air freshening system.
Ready? Ready. Poppers, popcorn.
Equal amounts.
Yeah, you gotta be fair. Our gourmet popcorn pops lighter and fluffier than ordinary popcorns. Why, it's blowing the top right off the popper. Now for the microwave.
Tastes light and fluffy, too.
As Grandpa always says, do one thing and do it better than anyone.
He actually listened.
Continuing this special show called Hail, Hail, Black and White. If you tuned in late, don't adjust your color set. There's nothing wrong with it. We are taping this show in black and white to help dramatize how much we love black and white movies. And in this segment, let's take a look at some of the films that depend so much on black and white that you just can't imagine them being shot in color. Movies where the whole mood and style and atmosphere depends on the mysteriousness of black and white. How about the creepiness of the old Hollywood mansion, for example, where silent star Gloria Swanson lived out her days in Billy Wilder's Sunset Boulevard? William Holden is the young employee she tries to seduce with her own film image. In Charles Laughton's Night of the Hunter, Robert Mitchum played a preacher who was really a killer. Only the children in the family discover his secret and look at their first clue, the amazingly dramatic impact of his shadow on the wall when he first arrives.
And before long, the bad men came back and...
Now, Alfred Hitchcock had already made a lot of films in color when he decided to film Psycho in black and white in 1960. Why did he make that decision? Because of the famous shower scene. Hitchcock said he felt it would be too gruesome in color, but in black and white, it shocks us more without disgustingness. And the proof of that is, how many times have we seen that shower scene ripped off in movie after movie in color, where even though in some cases they even copy the same shots, it doesn't have any of the same impact. And yet when you see Psycho again, familiar with it as you are, the scene always has its power.
That's because we know what color blood is. We don't have to be shown it. It's an emblem. Films deal in emblems when they're the most powerful, and it works. Another misconception about black and white films that I'd like to rectify is that black and white is somehow limiting when it comes to showing texture. The term black and white itself suggests hardness, but look at the middle ground grays in such films as Billy Wilder's Some Like It Hot.
I wanna be loved by you, ba-deedly-deedly-deedly-dum, boop-boopy-doop.
Rita Hayworth's dress in Gilda loses none of its fabric quality. You can touch it when it's shot by Rudolph Mattei in glorious black and white.
Put the blame on Maine, boys. Put the blame on Maine.
And is Joan Crawford any less glamorous because she is photographed in black and white by the great Ernie Holler and Mildred Pierce?
How much of a share would your pride require, Monty?
Please don't put it that way, Mildred. You know it hurts me to do this. I'm only doing it
How
because
much of a share?
1/3.
All right. Sold.
You could argue, and I will argue, that Joan Crawford's power is generated by the fact that she was in black and white. She was a dream come true or a nightmare as she chose to be throughout her careers because of the black and white imagery.
I'd like to propose the following. A dress in color calls attention to its surface, to the texture and color of it. A dress in black and white calls attention to its form, which is to say what's underneath it. So that any woman looks sexier in any dress in black and white than she does in color, because it is form rather than surface that's having the attention.
And at the same time, as I tried to say, the texture is still there.
Yes,
The fabric quality is still there. It's not lost.
In fact, if it's a silk or satin and something, it kind of glistens in a silvery way. You know, we're really talking about silver and white, not black and white anyway. Better than it would in color. When we come back, Gene and I will both select our personal favorite moments from the world of black and white movies.
I hate to clean. That's why I love this new Fantastic. Did you see it? It cuts through grease without leaving the film. So when I have company coming, I have time to do the really important things, like wipe the lipstick off the milk container. No grease, no film, new Fantastic.
With this ripe tomato, I'm going to show you how this toothbrush can help take care of your gums while it takes care of your teeth. It's the revolutionary Aquafresh Flex Brush. Only Flex Brush has a pressure-sensitive neck that bends and flexes as you brush. So no matter how you brush, you can see that Flex Brush is gentle on your gums. And everybody knows healthy teeth need healthy gums. Aquafresh Flex Brush for gentle dental care.
A recent university study confirms something that has millions of asthma sufferers breathing easier. Clinical tests showed Primatene tablets help keep asthma sufferers breathing freely for hours. Primatene tablets, with the asthma reliever doctors recommend.
If you've been hurt by anything, a car accident, a fall, a doctor or hospital, you may be entitled to a large cash award. To find out, call 1-800-LAWYERS now. The call is free, the advice is free, and we stay open 24 hours, 7 days a week, long after most other lawyers have gone for the day. So call 1-800-LAWYERS. We're there, right now, to answer all your questions absolutely free.
Discover the distinction of excellence at Joyce Honda.
Throughout the years, Joyce Honda has been serving northern New Jersey with quality automobiles at affordable pricing. So, whether you're buying or leasing, Joyce Honda will satisfy all your transportation needs. How do I know so much about Joyce Honda? I'm Deborah Greco, and this is my mother, Joyce.
Our family's name and reputation go on every car we deliver. Discover the distinction of excellence at Joyce Honda, Route 10, Denville, New Jersey.
Continuing this special program, Hail, Hail Black and White, which is on black and white and in black and white. Gene and I each sat down and made a list of our favorite single moments in black and white movies, moments when the absence of color is absolutely essential to the impact of the scene. My list started with this moment from The Third Man by Carol Reed. It's been called the most famous entrance in movie history. Joseph Cotton has spent most of the movie thinking Orson Welles is dead and buried, but then he finds out he's wrong.
Step out in the light and let's have a look at it. Who's your boss?
Sag, was wollt ihr denn überhaupt sein? Sind Sie deppert? Ja, Sie meine ich, schauen Sie so blöd. Eine Frechheit ist das mitten in der Nacht so einen Krawall zu machen.
And now here is the famous Fountain of Trevi scene from Federico Fellini's La Dolce Vita, 1959, with Marcello Mastroianni desperately trying to seduce the elusive Anita Ekberg. Somehow this scene wouldn't seem nearly as bleak, cold, and hopeless if it were in color. The Swedish director Ingmar Bergman created one of the most unforgettable images in movie history when he showed the figure of death leading a macabre dance in the plague-ridden Middle Ages. Color would have utterly destroyed this scene from The Seventh Seal. Now just picture that same scene with a blue sky and green grass. And what do you have? A Woody Allen picture, Love and Death, in which he satirized.
I was just going to say, it's a puppet. He becomes a puppet rather than an emblematic character. Here are three of my favorite black and white images, starting with the dazzling mirror sequence that concludes Orson Welles' The Lady from Shanghai.
Of course, killing you is killing myself. It's the same thing. But you know, I'm pretty tired of both of us.
The final scene in Stanley Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove is a black comedy riot with Slim Pickens as Major Kong, in love with a bomb. Who needs color when the world is ending?
Hey, what about Major Kong?
Finally, when it comes to my favorite form of movie conversation, the argument, none has been better filmed in all of its grittiness than Haskell Wexler's photography of the feuding couples in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf.
Did you really think I was going to kill you, Martha?
You kill me, that's a laugh.
How many times have we all seen people argue in films? Why does that sequence stand out so much? It seems more rough and tumble. They're smoking, they're drinking. The drinks aren't colored drinks. They're black and white drinks. They're more powerful drinks. They stand for all drinks. I keep using this word emblematic.
Yeah.
I think that, I apologize that I can't come up with another word, but it seems to be so true. It stands for something.
It's the perfect word, because what black and white is the essence of something, whereas color is the particular example of it.
Right.
That's why we dream so often in black and white, because we're thinking about all of the things we're dreaming of instead of just one. You know, I was on a radio talk show a couple months ago, and some kid called in. We were talking about colorization, and he said he didn't like black and white movies because they were too hard to watch. Now, my mind failed me. I didn't know how to respond to this. All I can say is I think the point of this show is that black and white is not only just as easy to watch as color, but it's also in many ways more rewarding because it takes us into that world of mystery and imagination that color takes us away from. Color is just a record of the world, but black and white is almost like a record of what's hidden underneath.
It's very special.
Yes, it is.